Okay, guys, so a few weeks ago we had calls for some heavy frost. So I figured I'd come out and cover my trees up and go ahead and get them ready for the winter, get it out of the way. Well, since I've covered them and I have these hydrometers, temperature readers on a few of them, I've been getting alerts that the temperature has been too high. So this morning, it was 74 degrees here in zone 7B. I got an alert that this Owari was at 108 degrees. So I came out and I uncovered it, as well as all of my other citrus. And I'm going to just leave them uncovered until we get those constant low temperatures, I guess. Because one day I was away and it alerted to 103 degrees. And so I turned around and came back home to uncover and water this one in particular. And the interesting thing for me is this tree is under the tree line. And I have other citrus trees like up by the house and one over there behind that shed right there. But ironically, this one, the temperature is always highest on this tree. I would think that it would be highest at the ones closer to the house, but it's not. It's this one, and then the tree behind that shed, which is the sun comes directly up behind that shed, so I can understand that one. But the trees by the house, they are actually, the temperatures are lower than both of these, which is odd to me, but it could be because the house is shaded sometimes, I guess. So since I'm videoing, I figured I'd do another video, actually my last video of the citrus for this year. So here again is Meiwa Kumquat. It did have the rootstock growing on it, and it was taller than that green stick that I had on it, so I had to cut that off. And the Meiwa seems to be growing kind of slow, but I think they did say they grow pretty slow because they're not very big plants. Again, here's a 942. It's doing pretty good because when I got it, it was only a little teeny thing and only had one little branch sticking up, so it has really leafed out and has started to spread. Here is my flying dragon. It has finally started to lose its leaves, except for those down at the bottom, but the ones at the top, it has lost its leaves. That one, I do believe I just planted that this year. Yep, 24. Actually, that's not the flying dragon. That is the Seville. Oops, my bad. That's the Seville. Here is another 942. And what I find interesting about this one is, look how far it's back underneath of those pine trees. So it's really shaded, guys. But look how pretty that green is. I think that's the prettiest one I have. The rest of them have some little yellow going on with them. And they all get the same thing. The only difference, and I was concerned about this one because it was so far back into the shade, but it seems to be doing really well right there. So time will tell. Oh, and again, all of these are at my tree line, and they will not be covered with the exception of the Owari Satsuma. That was the very first tree I showed you, and the Meiwa Kumquat. I will cover those for the first couple of years, and then I'm going to let them be on their own. Here I have the lemon tree that I started from seed. It's doing really well. So it's not grafted or anything. It's on its own rootstock. And it was a pretty good lemon, though I know I won't get the same genetics, but nevertheless, I put this out here as well to see how it does on the tree line and unprotected. Here we have another 942, and it has branched out really well also. And so I'm waiting for it to start getting a little taller, but it's doing good. I just got these actually. I want to say all of them were out here this year. This will be their first winter. Yeah, this will be the first winter for these out here. Another one. This is what I was talking about. Look how yellow those leaves are compared to the other one. It has some darker leaves down there near the mulch, but for the most part, they're really yellow. And here is the flying dragon. Isn't that thing pretty? That is one pretty plant right there. Look at that. We have to get some more of those just because I like the curvature of the stems. That's a pretty big plant. It starts to lose its leaves as well. And they're starting to turn yellow and then they drop off. But the plant itself is still a real pretty dark green. So far, I'm happy with the way everything is going because for the most part, I don't do much to these over here. I want these to be my survivor trees. And here is another 942 here. And again, the leaves are yellow. And all of these were maybe 6 inches when I bought them, maybe. So they're growing pretty well to be neglected because honestly, I don't do a whole lot to them. They may get watered about 3 or 4 times a month. But that's it. I've probably fertilized them 2 or 3 times since I planted them. And here is another 942. They're babies. Wait until next year, y'all. I'm not going to have to bend down to show them to you. Hopefully. All right. Let's go over here to the behemoth. This is the lemon tree that was heavily infested with the kudzu bugs a few days ago, last week I think it was. And so this one was also started from a seed, and I want to say it was in 2015, 16, 17, somewhere in there. I think it was 15. I had given this one to a friend because I just planted every seed that I got out of lemons and I planted them, so I just started giving them away. And I had given her this one and it touched her ceiling, and so she gave it back to me because it didn't have any fruits on it in all the years she's had it. So I brought it home and I cut the top off of it and I left it in the house for that winter. And I planted it out last winter, 23, and it had very minimal damage. I think I cut off about 3 tips, maybe about 6 or 7 inches from 3 of the limbs, and that was it. So it did really good last winter, and I'm hoping that it does just as good, just as well this winter. Now I'm debating taking these bottom branches off so some air can circulate in there. And they weren't touching the ground until I added this mulch, which is pretty high. You can see how high that mulch is. And I'll pull that mulch back a little bit this summer, which is why I'm hesitant to take these off. But I probably could take some of them off. But I'm going to leave them so that they can help protect the tree this winter. The roots. Okay, so that is that one. Now let's go over here to the ones that are beside the house and behind this building. Actually, I will start with the one behind the building. And there's some down there, Seville. I think I have 3 down there. I'm not going to go down there. They're bigger ones because they were the ones that I planted first. And they're probably about 5 feet tall, 2 of them. And the other one's probably about 3 or 4 feet tall. But I'm not going to walk down there today. Go over here and show you what's going on behind this shed. If the sun comes up in the direction I'm walking. And so this actually it's a grapefruit, it's a bittersweet grapefruit tree. Temperatures always read really high as well. And it's here against this shed and just covered with the frost cloth. There's no lights or anything on it. You see I have a temperature gauge, ouch, temperature thingy on that one as well. And again, this is the bittersweet. So leaves down here are starting to get a little yellow. So I fertilized today. And this is came from Madison. Let's see if we can read that. Bittersweet grapefruit. Date of birth 8/1/23. So it is a little over a year old now, since this is November of 24. But that is the bittersweet. And then we'll walk over here to the citrus trees that I have against the house. This one has really started to show off, but this one was a thorn in my side. It is the sugar bale, and boy, it dropped all of its leaves when I first got it. And then when it started growing leaves, the leaves curled up on me and looked all kind of crazy. But I think we finally have an understanding now. And it is really, really doing well. That's the sugar bale, which is supposed to be cold hardy in zone 7B with protection, of course. Here, y'all. Here she is showing off. This is my 3-way lemon. It is Ponderosa. The 3 yellows you see are Ponderosa. They didn't get quite as big as a Ponderosa lemon is supposed to, but I think that's because the tree is so young. So I had 4 on there. I gave my friend's daughter one when it was still green, and that thing was pretty green. It was like a real bright lime green inside, and she said it was really delicious. But these I'm going to let continue to ripen a little bit longer because they're still kind of firm. Yeah, they're still pretty firm. So I'm gonna leave them hang on there a little while longer. I'm not in no hurry to take them down. But that is the Ponderosa, the Lisbon, and the Eureka. The Lisbon and Eureka haven't produced anything yet, and actually they're just really, this one right here is the Lisbon graft, and right there is the Eureka graft, that little one there. They're really too small to do anything. And here it's going to be a challenge for me this year. This is the variegated Mineola. And I know better than to leave it out here, but I just sometimes like pushing those limits. And so she will be out here under cover and lights when the temperatures drop. That is the variegated Mineola. Here is the Big Mama Owari. This is my oldest Satsuma. And I believe I got her in March of 23 is when I planted her. And to my understanding, they are just lanky trees. This is really, really lanky. So I repositioned the pole today and I've tied her up over here. And she still kind of wants to curve this way. So what I did is I cut some of these branches in hopes that I can get it to grow back that way to kind of balance the tree out, because we don't have many branches on this side at all. I mean, they're still growing, but this tree is really heavy on the left side. So I'm going to have to work with this tree a lot to try to correct that so that I don't lose it to breakage, because you see it splits right there. And then all of this is on that one branch. And I'll probably end up really honestly taking some of those off. But we'll see. For right now, I have it staked up. And I'm going to see what it does. But that is Grandmama Owari right there. She's probably my second oldest citrus tree. And my first one is here. This is the 10-degree tangerine. It had grown substantially. It was over the top of my door frame there, and I cut it back so that I can cover it this year. So next year I'm going to make these little thingy-majiggies that I have for the covering a little bit higher, because the frost cloth can go a little bit taller, and I'm gonna make it more permanent. And then every year I will cut this back down to just beneath whatever height that I set these things at, and I'll get more sturdier ones because those are really, really loose and wiggly. But this is the 10-degree tangerine, and it's the very first tangerine or citrus tree that I purchased. And look at that base down there. So hopefully she'll start giving me some fruit. I haven't gotten fruit off of any of these that I've showed you so far, with the exception of the lemons that I will be getting in a couple of months probably. And this I got in March of 23 as well. So it's a little over a year, and it has really, really grown. It was pretty small, but it has really grown, especially since I put it in the ground. And then here is my ruby red grapefruit. Now this went in the ground last year. I think I actually purchased it last year. And I did get 2 grapefruit off of this last year. They were the best, the absolute best grapefruit I have ever eaten, ever. They were really, really good. And let's see if I can find the tag to see when exactly I put this one out here. Now, y'all, I just reached, there we go. Ah, look at there. I didn't put the date on there. Well, I'm sure it came out here last winter was the first winter it was out here. So I got it sometime in 23. And now I'm going to have to go in here and look up my receipt so that I can put the date on that label. But that is the ruby red grapefruit. And that is the end of my citrus video. Again, I got 2 fruit off of that one last year, none this year. And then the lemon, then none, any of the other citrus have not given me any fruit at all so far this year. So that is it. That is all. And I thank you guys for watching and following all that good stuff. I'm going to leave these uncovered because really and truly our weather don't get bad until about the end of December, January for sure, and then it starts warming back up in February. So I'm going to leave these uncovered at least for a while. since really all I have to do is come out and unclip them and drop the cover back over top of them. It's nothing hard. And if I need to, I can plug them up because I have them all hooked up to lights, and I have all the extension cords and plug-in things ready to go. So, okay guys, seems like I was going to show you something else, but I've forgotten. Oh, I know what it is. I was going to, and I have been, always cleaning this area here out because stuff just grows crazy in there, and I try to keep it cleaned out. But what I'm finding this year, like those butterfly ginger, I put all those things out and they came back, so I guess they want to be there. My bananas, I've dug so many of those out, replanted them. And it's a lot of work. So I'm finding the more trees I plant, the more work I have, of course. So I don't have time for all this digging stuff out, moving. Look at these elephant ears. They had just really taken over. They weren't even in this corner. What I had here was this, which is fennel. And you see the elephant ears have taken over the fennel. And the poor fennel is trying to get out. But look down there. Fennel is growing. And so I'm not even going to clean it out. I'm going to let them battle it out. Let it go ahead and create this microclimate that it has going on. And let it do what it do. Same with these butterfly ginger here. I had dug all these out and moved them. Hostas, all this stuff really needs to be cleaned up, but who has time for all of that? This popped up on its own. This, oh Lord, teacup, elephant ear. So it kind of blocks my entry into here, and I'm going to have to move that eventually. But this spring, I'm going to take this green off. You see it's getting holes in it. I'm going to take this off because that is getting too big, too tall for it. And I'm just going to leave the frame here and use a frost cloth in the future over top of the frame instead of replacing the plastic on there. And that is, of course, the wonderful pomegranate that needs to be babied. And here's the other one. They're the same age. The only difference is this small one here, I kept it in the house last winter. And this one here, I planted in the ground under this greenhouse last winter. So, all right, guys, for real this time. I'm out. Thanks for watching.